Daf Samach Dalet Amud Beis, right at the top. Continuing on with the discussion of the kalim, the ornaments, the takshitim that they brought back from Midian, where we learn out from there the din of Tumah from kalim, the din of Tahara. Omer of Sheshes, Mipnei Ma, Mana HaKosev, Takshitim Shebechutz, Im Takshitim Shebefnim. Why did the Torah, when it lists the kalim that the soldiers brought back, the ornaments, takshitim, that they were menadav, they donated to the Mishkan, why does the Torah firstly have to list them, and why does it really list all of them, the outer ones, with the ones that were bifnim? Why did it list the outer jewelry, like rings, etc., with the ones were intimate jewelry, like the kumas, these which were used and covered the intimate parts of the body? Now, if the point is, the way Rashi is masbid in the Marsha, if the point is to tell me that they were menadev, the ones, the takshitim, were bifnim, to be mechaper for averes that they might have had, for machshavas, for hirhurim, etc., for machshavas and hirhurim of snuos, so just list the takshitim shebifnim. Why does it list them together? To teach you, to teach you, if somebody gazes at even the aspect katana, even the small finger of a woman for the purpose of getting hanoah, it's like he's mistakel, gazing at the mokam ha'erva. Zok the Mishnah, continuing with the items that a woman may wear or may not wear. Yoitze Isha, an Isha can go out on Shabbos, b'chutei sara, with strands of hair that she uses these strands of hair to braid her hair. So she's allowed to go out with chutei sara, bein mishalo, whether it's her hair, bein mishal chavert, or her friends, bein mishal behema, or even if it's hairs of an animal and she's using it for braiding, it's permitted to go out with them. And she can go out with bangles or plates that she had on her forehead, these types of things, the plates that she had on her head, like a tzitz, like Kohen Gadol had a tzitz, these types of things, when they're sewn to her hat. If they're sewn to her hat, it's mutter, because we're not concerned she's going to take off her hat, she won't expose her hair, and therefore we're not concerned that she's going to remove this and show it to a friend. Now that's the gzer, that's a concern why we're geyser on many of the items that she can't wear them and going out in the Shus Rabbim, because she might show them to a friend, she might show her tachshit and jewelry to her friend. Here we're not concerned, because since they're sewn to her hat, she's not going to remove her hat, she won't remove them either. Now she's permitted to go out with a kovel, with a cap, and with a wig, with a sheitel, in a chotzer, in a courtyard, but not in the Rishus Harabim. So the Gemara will explain that. She can go out with a mach in her ear. If she puts in a cotton ball or some kind of other type of wad in her ear, and she puts that in the ear of a mach sandal, or in her sandal to soften the shoe, to protect her foot. These types of things that she is allowed to put in it, she's allowed to go out with that. Or a mayach that she was misaken for her nida, to absorb the dam nida. These things are mutter. These things are mutter. These things are considered to be a part of her malbush, and it's not considered to be carrying. And of course, we're not concerned over here that she's going to remove it and show it to her friend. Bipilpul, she's allowed to also take out a pepper, bagalgal melech, or a ball or a lump of salt. So these were put in, the pilpul was put in if a person had bad breath, or the salt, if a toothache, it was used as a remedy. Now these things therefore are considered not carrying, it's part of a malbush, part of what a person would go out with, because it's part of his regular type of derech to go out. It's not carrying, it's what they would have in their mouth and have in their body at the time that they would be walking. So it's not considered carrying. But one cannot put it to begin with, and one cannot put it on Shabbos. Because as Taisus and the Rishonim speak out, because perhaps people will think that they see a person taking it, and they'll put, if he puts it to lachil, they think they're putting it there for the purpose of carrying. Or perhaps there's also a problem over here of refuah, that it's an item that is an item of refuah, so one cannot put it lechachila on Shabbos. V'im nafal lo yitachzer, if it fell, you can't put it back in, because putting it back in is like putting it there lechachila, so you can't put it in if it fell out. Shein teisev is the shein shel zov, if it was a false tooth. So a false tooth made out of gold, it was a false tooth that's made out of gold. Rebbe Matir v'chachamim oisrim. And the chachamim say it's also. Over here, the concern is, do we say that it's a gold tooth, it sticks out, it stands out, and therefore we're afraid that people will make fun of her and she might take it out and carry it. So this is the machlokes over here. Now this explanation of shein teisev the shein shel zav, which says a false tooth made out of gold, is according to Rashi's first pshat that it's really one item. It's a false tooth made out of gold. Rashi has another pshat that there's two separate items. One is a shein teisev as a false tooth. If there's a tooth, a person had a false tooth, a regular tooth, a human tooth that was placed in her mouth, then she's permitted to go out with it. Shein shel zav, that's a machlokes, Rebbe and the Chachamim. Over there, we're concerned if people make fun of her, she might take it out and show them, but Rebbe is matir, the Chachamim aser. So the Gemara says these, in the first case of the Reisha, it talks about the hairs that a woman used for braids. It lists 3 cases. The Gemara says 3. It has to tell me all of these cases, each of these 3 cases. Di ashmin and di da, if it told me that it's mutter for her, if it's a strand of hair that she used to braid her hair, mishum d'loy moyes. It's not moyes for her, it's her own hair. So there we're not concerned. Aval chaver to the moyes, but her friend's hair that's repugnant, emaloi, I would say that it's also because people might make fun of her, she might remove it. And if you only told her friend, I would say it's from the same kind, the same species, it's a human hair. So there I think it's mutter. But I might have said behema, but a animal's hair, the lav barmino, it's not a human species, emaloi, I might think it's not mutter to go out, it's not permitted to go out, sricha. That's why the Mishnah has to list each of these 3 cases. Tana, however, even though we say going out with these hairs is permitted, but however, a elderly woman who has white hair can't go out with a young girl's hair to braid, and vice versa, because over there we are concerned that there's the contrast of the old and the young and the old, that she might remove it and carry it. So Bishlama Zakena Bishel Yalda, we understand that a elderly woman cannot go out with one of a young, so Shvachu. So that is something that it makes her look more younger, attractive. So over there I might think that she might go out because she's not going to take it out. So therefore the Tana has to therefore we have to say over here, the Tana has to say that it's also Eli Yalda Bishel Zakena. But a young girl with one of an older woman, which is over there, it's an embarrassment for her. Why does the Brisa have to tell me that it's also Genayhula? That's an embarrassment for her. So, of course, there's a chashash that she might remove it and come to carry it. Mar says, really, it's not necessary, but I did the Tana Zakena B'Shel Yalda, Tana Nami Yalda B'Shel Zakena. It has to tell me the chiddush of an elderly one with a young one, so it tells me the reverse case, the flip side of it, but really, it's not necessary. She is permitted to go out with a cap or a wig, a shekel, in a chotzer, which implies tafkin a chotzer, but not reshus harabim. Amarav kol shasur cham lotzos by reshus harabim, asur lotzos by lechotzer. Generally speaking, the items that the Chum said you can't take out reshus harabim are asur and a chotzer as well. We did not differentiate, the Chum did not differentiate between the two. Chus mikol Except from a kovel penachris, over there we make a chiluk. In Rishus Harabim, she can't wear it in Rishus Harabim, but she could wear it in the Chatzir. Rabbi Anani bar Sosan Mishmei Rabbi Shmuel bar Rav Yosi Amar Hakol B'Kechovel. He says no, there's no chiluk, and by a chovel we make a distinction between a Chatzir and Rishus Harabim. In Rishus Harabim it's also, but in a Chatzir it's muter. So too with the other takshitim. With the other ornaments, it's the same. We also make this distinction. There's no difference between a kovel and pe'anachris and other takshitim. Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, kovel and pe'anachris l'chatzer, she's permitted to go out with the kovel pe'anachris in a chatzer. It's in a chatzer. Bishlam l'rav nicha, he says that it's fine because it's davka these, it's only these two. El Ravanani bar Sosan, he says that all of things are mutar in a chotzer kasha. Why is our Mishnah saying davka these two things? More answer, Ravanani bar Sosan, Mishmei Devan Koamala. Who did he say this? Mishmei Rabbi Shmuel bar Rav Yosi. He said it, not his own opinion. He said it in the name of Shmuel bar Rav Yosi. Rabbi Shmuel bar Rav Yosi, Tanu Poli. Rabbi Shmuel said, Tana, you can argue. Yes, our Mishnah, it's true. Our Mishnah is saying that it's only kovel pei and nachris. But he is going according to the Tana Rabbi Shmuel bar Rav Yosi, who matters in all things, and all things are mutter in that way. So based on this, some of the Rishonim say that, and it's a discussion brought down in our Taisus, that we paskin like Ravanani bar Sosan, and therefore we say all items are also only in the Rishus Harabim, not in the Chatzir. Now, therefore, they say nowadays we don't have a Rishus. Generally speaking, we don't have a Rishus Harabim because if you hold according to the Paiskim to be Rishus Harabim, it has to be 16 Amos plus 600,000 people passing through it every day. So our Rishus Harabims are generally don't have a din of a Rishus Harabim. Don't have a din of Rishus Harabim D'Oraisa. So based on this, that's why women nowadays can wear jewelry, because the Yisr is only in a genuine Rishus Harabim. So this is a large discussion amongst the Rishonim and the Paiskim, why nowadays women generally, they do wear jewelry out in the public. Taisus brings down another explanation in that because the Yisr is based on that she might take it on show to a friend, the derech right now is not, people don't do that, and they don't take it off and show it to your friend. And Taisus concludes that mutar, he says that it's better, mutar if you shagim value the mezidim, then you leave it as it is, and even though they worry it, but yesh al ma'al ismaich, and therefore don't leave it as it is and don't object to it. So now the Gemara says the Rav who makes a chilik between the kovel pe'anochs and other takshitim, and he says it's only these that are mutter in the chalzer, and other ones, however, are also not only in the Rishus Harabim, even the chalzer. So what's the chilik? Why dafka these? There really should be no difference, but the Chachamim left something. They left some area of a woman that she can adorn herself, so that that she won't be repulsive to her husband, that there should be shalom bayis. So really, essentially, it should be included in the same gzera. But they left some area where a woman could adorn herself, Kedusanya, like we learned, that there is an inyan that shaloitis gan al bala. It says by an isha who's anidava dava benidosa. She's dava in her nidosa. She's in a state of nidus. Zechein rishon amru. That means that should be dava benidosa. She should be separate from her husband in the time of her nida. Therefore, she should not put on eye makeup, and not rouge, and not wear colorful clothing. So that's what they held. Until Rabbi Akiva came and taught in Kenata Magana al Bala. You're going to make her repulsive to her husband if you're not going to allow her to have any makeup. And it might lead to a divorce. How should we darshan? It means she should remain in her state of nidus even after there is no flow of dam, of blood. So she should remain until she goes to the mikveh. She has the halachas of a nida, even if there is no flow of dam. We see in our Mishnah there is a din of maras ayin, which we'll see shortly. Wherever the Chachamim answered something on account of maras ayin, they answered afilu b'chadrei chadorim also. It's also even in private. I mean, even though the basis of it is that people might come to see it and might to see that think that there's something wrong and there's an isser and a person's over the isser, it might lead them to be over isserim as well. So, however, generally speaking, he holds, even when there's nobody around, if the basis of the Isser is Maris Ha'ayin, the Isser applies even B'chadrei Chadorim, even in innermost chambers where nobody's around. It's a loy plug and applies there as well. Tanan, we learned in the Mishnah, in our Mishnah, loy bezug afal pi shupok, that you can't go out with a zug, with a bell, even if it's closed up, even if it's plugged up. You can't go out with the bell, even if it's plugged up and it's not going to be mashmiya kol, and it's not going to make a sound. So there's no problem mashmiya kol, but the animal cannot go out with the bell, because it looks like you're taking out to the market for business. It's also mishum chinga. V'tanya yidach haver, you learn the brayso poikol gazu b'tzavora u'metayel ima b'chatzer. But we learned in the brayso, it says that if it's plugged up, you can go with it in the chatzer. So now, if the Isser is Mishum Maras Ayin, that people think that you're taking it out for business, then the Isser, based on what was Rav said, it should be also Afil B'chadrei Chadorim, it should be also even in private. Yet here the Baraisa makes a chiluk, makes a distinction. You can't take it out in the public, but muter l'taylim b'chatzer, in the chatzer it's muter. Or answers Tanoi in the Chanai. This brayso holds its mutter, but it is in fact a machlokes tanoim, and Rav is not going according to this brayso. Rav is going according to the other Tana, because as we learned, it says shoitchem b'chama. If a person's clothes became wet, he can dry it out in the sun, but he can't do it in public because people might think he's doing the laundry on Shabbos, and bin kaives libun is a malacha, so he can't not put it out kenegedam, but he can dry it out in the private. So you see over here that this Tana holds that there is a chiluk between the public and the private. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Oisim, but they say it's also no, even in private it's also. So you see over here there's a machlokes tanoim, if a dover that was shumaras ayin, is it also b'chadrei chadorim or not? Is it also even in private, or is it also, and Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon Oisim, even in private it's also. So Rav is going according to Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon, and the Brayso is going according to the Tanakama that says Shaitchem b'chama avaloi keneged ha'am.